Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spiritual Readiness on the Time of the Shift. I have been thinking for about almost a week now, I have a confession to make, about how to word this video that I'm about to do now. And it has to do with the spread of the coronavirus around the globe and how that intersects with a channeling that I received 4.5 years ago, where the Galactic Regent Council, my guides, were revealing that there is a potential for a global pandemic to occur, causing a massive die-off of human beings. I'm not a fear-mongering kind of person, so it took great effort for me to actually talk about this. But in the background, that entire vision scared me enough that 4.5 years ago, I began to do research in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And there's another reason for this as well. It's because I have the ability to project people in the future, and I've done it for groups of 50 or more people. Everyone that is going in that journey, going into the future Earth or the new Earth, comes back and are always dumbfounded over the fact that there are very few human beings 100 years in the future. For those two reasons, I've begun to do a lot of research on the Tibetan Book of the Dead. I not only did the research myself, but I've also asked experts coming from two separate traditions, one the Chinese Buddhist tradition and one who was an assistant to the Dalai Lama, to ask them to help me figure out the complexity of this document, which was originally written in the 8th century, got buried by the monk who wrote it because he thought it was too advanced, and then was rediscovered 700 years ago. In Buddhism, as it stands right now, when somebody is in hospice care and they're about to die, a Buddhist monk goes to the house or the household where the person is dying, and they begin aloud to repeat this document for 49 days straight. There are different sections, and every day there's a different section that's being repeated. I want to go over this, if you would indulge me today. The video is going to be a little longer than usual. I want to go over this, and I will tie this back around with what we're currently experiencing collectively as a planet. The actual title of the book in Sanskrit is actually Bardo Thodol. Bardo meaning transition, and Thodol actually means liberation. It is liberation through hearing. So the deceased is laying down, or the person who's about to go, and the priest calls the person's name, so and so and so, you're about to transition. You're going to Bardo, and you're about to die. Listen to me carefully. And they begin, this is the way the book begins, and they begin to describe to them what the afterlife is going to be like, and to whatever it is that you're going to experiencing in the 49 days of the Bardo is going to be very immersive, very holographic, and will engulf you completely with emotion, but nothing can really harm your soul or your body. You don't have a body anymore. So whatever experience you have is a mirror. It's a reflection of what is already in your mind. So whatever you experience, do not let it scare you or derail you for trying to find an exit out of the samsara. Samsara is a term in Sanskrit that means the wheel, and it's the wheel of life and death. Do not let it deter you from finding the only one exit that everyone must find, which is the first experience that you have when you die. When you die, according to the book, many people who have gone through near-death experiences the same thing. They experience, and the term in the Sanskrit is luminosity. They experience this incredible luminosity. The issue in the Sanskrit says this very clearly. All you have to do is recognize the luminosity. What do they mean by this? You have to understand that the luminosity is you. You have to identify completely with it. Now, if in your life you were worried about your own physical passion, your desires, and your this and that and the other, and you were not focusing on your spiritual and emotional and psychological unfoldment, it will be very hard for you, because a lot of people who see the tunnel think the tunnel is God or it's something else. None of them have ever said, or in their experiences, in the near-death experience, come back and said, I identify with this. I knew when I saw the light that the light was me. Yet in that luminosity exists all of the ascended masters, all of the spiritual being. In fact, the new earth that the planet is transitioning to exists in that luminosity. More of that later, once I've concluded explaining very quickly what this Tibetan Book of the Dead is about. Now, if most people fail, they don't recognize it, and it disappears. And when it disappears, the first series of experiences is what they call the peaceful deities. 42 different peaceful deities will show up to you. And every time you will experience, and each one of them will show up in a different color light. And they will make you feel and experience. It's all heart-centered. It's all emotion. You will feel, you will sense, you will perceive, you will, maybe it's the blue light, and there are different colors, and each color means something. The blue light is the Buddha of wisdom. And there is a green light, there's a yellow light. And each one of them, they are trying to encourage you to identify with something so that you will have a favorable reincarnation. Okay? Depending on what you identify with. Now, having gone through the 42, and every day, the Buddhist monk would say, first day, you didn't recognize the light. The second day, yeah, now you're seeing the blue light. The blue light is this, that, and the other. They're trying to guide the person. It's like having a dream and trying to, from the outside, talking to the person who's dreaming and saying to them, wake up, you're dreaming. Be lucid and realize whatever you're experiencing, your consciousness is creating it. That white light is actually the quantum field. The description from 1500 years ago was an endless field of possibilities where everything is everywhere simultaneously. This is quantum mechanics, it's quantum conversation. The ancient recognized that the afterlife and even this life when we're alive is a field of possibilities everywhere, and that this reality is a way for human consciousness to attempt to evolve and recognize itself. Okay? Now, after the 42 peaceful deities or experiences, you go to what they call 58 wrathful experiences or deities. At that moment, your fears, your passion, all of the addictions, everything that you had in your life that you were suppressing will be shown up to you. And because it's so vivid and so completely immersive, most people, most souls, as they travel through this landscape, are trying to figure out a way out, because it's too, the term that they're using for the wrathful deities is that it creates suffering. It makes the soul have incredible pain. And while they were having this incredible pain, the light then that they see, they try to go into the light as a way for them to escape. Let's say the experience you were having had to do with victimization, and you're seeing yourself as a victim. And as you try to escape and you go to that light, you're going to incarnate in a life where that victimization is the prime and core and center issue for you to be able to resolve it, so that when you go back over the samsara and the wheel of life and death again, you can actually recognize, work out that problem and recognize it. This is a short summary of what the Tibetan Book of the Dead is about. It's very short, it's very succinct. It's much more than that, but I just want to, in the short video, talk about this. And why am I talking about this? Because I want you to understand that that luminosity is also accessible while you're still alive and you're still standing here. Now, for me, the vision and the perception of this 4.5 years ago, of this massive die-off, terrified me. And if I'm alive right now, and I am in the outside world, because everything is a mirror. Everything you're experiencing, even in this life, is a mirror. What you experience in the Bardo is a mirror. What you experience in this life is a mirror for my consciousness to learn something. So if I'm terrified by this, and I know it's coming, and I'm seeing it actually happening right now in China, where all the borders are shut down, the airplanes are not going. I don't have to describe this, so you know what's going on. You watch the media. So if this is the case, and it's going to spread, the part of me for a week and a half now, I've been terrified as well. And this is when I went back to the Bardo Thodol to try to interpret it in a different way. Collectively, humanity, almost 8 billion people, we all choose to incarnate at the same time. And our collective consciousness is creating this experience of the Bardo. Whatever earth changes are going on now, whether it's hurricanes, earthquakes, whether it is political unrest, whether it is potential of a die-off, all of it we are collectively creating in our consciousness as a way for us to work out our fear and try to be neutral to our fear and have the emotional intelligence for us to be neutral to our fear and find the luminosity. Because the new earth actually exists in the luminosity. It is there that we need to find, and there is no other escape, and there is no other entry into the new earth but to enter into that luminosity. You can enter it at the moment of transition, where you first experience it and you see if you identify with it, or you can actually right now on earth, while you are working on your emotional intelligence. And I've been teaching this for the past 15 years. I've been teaching my students how to go through. First thing every time I get a student is to go through the process of learning emotional intelligence, then leading into social intelligence, leading in then connection with higher virtue, higher emotions, and as a way to disconnect and dismantle the illusion of the 3D. And right now, the illusion is so pervasive and so persistent and so powerful that even I, as a teacher, was terrified of the potential of this for the past week and a half. And because of this, I had to go back and remind myself to release the fear and to understand that I exist in a field of endless possibilities. And in that field, in that accepting and surrender of trying to control outcome and be afraid for my life and the life of my loved one, of all my students, and how is humanity going to make it? How are we going to do this? Blah, blah, blah. Trying to solve the problem. The problem is not mine to solve. It is bigger than me. I'm not going to go in and volunteer myself to go to China right now and try to rescue everyone with that kind of thinking. You still have to be prudent and take care of yourself and isolate yourself as much as possible. But keeping in mind as well the emotional and the psychological thing that this experience is trying to teach me and trying to teach the planet collectively. That we are not in charge, we are not in control, and we need individually and collectively to surrender responsibility to a higher power. And to understand that the luminosity is the key. It's the escape. And there's only one escape for everyone on the planet. It's to find that luminosity. Okay? I hope this has encouraged you, giving you additional information. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if this has helped you. Subscribe to the channel. Give it a like, and also share it and let other people know of your experience here. Thank you. And I'll speak to you next week.